Hi everyone, welcome to Having a Cuppa with toowoomba.com.au. I'm Josie Howard and today I've got the absolutely gorgeous Gay Hold with me from Jazzy Lane. Gay, you're not just a professional hairdresser, are you? There's much more to what you do in this community.
Yes, there is a few things that I do. I've got a couple of projects on the go at the moment. One I'm most passionate about is the Toowoomba School Formal Donation Project. We've been running that for 3 years. I do it with a lady called Paula Lucas, one of my dear friends.
And Paula is a hairdresser as well?
Yeah. And we saw the need of some disadvantaged kids out there that were not going to the formals. They didn't tell anyone why. And as we've progressed with the project, we've been able to help a lot of people. So the community really get behind us by donating their dresses, shoes, handbags, jewellery. Other business owners help with the hair and makeup as well.
Fantastic. And Paula is a hairdresser as well,
yes.
A local hairdresser,
yes.
Another salon owner.
Yes, she was. Now she does Laura George clothing as well.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And you mentioned when we had our chat before that you identified young people who might miss out just simply because you had some young girls coming in, mostly young women coming in, having their hair, just having a trim or something and saying they weren't going to their formal, and you could identify that there were some issues.
Yeah, often they're embarrassed to say they can't afford to go.
Because it's expensive, right?
I mean, the
amount of money some families spend on end of year formals is huge.
Absolutely. And as we've grown, we've got more agencies involved now. So we have people from foster care, just all over the place. Actually, we're getting girls coming from Innisfail, Cherbourg, Mergen, Charleville. So it's getting quite well known.
So they're coming in and having their hair done, just the dresses,
yeah.
so just their outfit.
That's right, yeah. We had a shop in Southtown where we had over 250 dresses.
Wow.
So we're able to fit out everyone.
So I did notice on Facebook you had some great coverage. Lots of people had connected with you via Facebook as well to actually be able to donate clothing and accessories and things. And it is everything, isn't it? It's shoes, bags, jewellery, everything, dresses.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a lot of brand new dresses too, with price tags of $800 and $900 donated as well. So it's been amazing. And when you see the girls' reactions, and they're often in tears because it's the only pretty dress I've ever owned, it's really emotional. And Paula and I just love it.
And I guess it must be hard. You can't disconnect from that, can you? And
no.
You've got a couple of daughters too, don't you?
Yes,
so you know what that special moment is, I guess, when girls, girls and boys go through school. So do you do boys as well?
Yeah, we try to. It's we probably do more girls though.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Is it because you don't have access to as many boys' clothes, or?
Initially when we started the project, it was sort of, we concentrated on the girls because the suits are a lot cheaper for the boys to get than the girls.
Or higher, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. But we do have quite a few suits available for the boys.
Okay, that's great. And so that will lead me into some of the other things you do, like Hair Aid. So what is Hair Aid?
Hair Aid is a project that has been in Australia for a few years now. They do a lot of overseas work as well. They'll go to places like Manila and actually teach people who are in the most disadvantaged situation that you can think of, like they're literally living like in a rubbish tip, and they go over with a team of hairdressers and train them. They give them the training, a week workshop of just basic skills, provide them with tools and even sharpening tools so they can continue, and each year it's just growing.
So is that about teaching people to sort of feed themselves essentially?
Basically,
so giving them an occupation essentially to be able to create an income from it. Is that what you're doing here in Toowoomba?
No, as part of Hair Aid, I'm all about doing things in my community. So it's called a hack program. So it's Hair Aid Community Cuts, and that's basically helping any disadvantaged people at all. So with homeless haircuts, I've done a few projects now involving the Manor House, which is women in domestic violence, also Gateway House, which is kids in crisis care. So I've been able to get a team of hairdressers together, not necessarily from my salon.
So you actually give them haircuts and do their hair? That's what you actually
I've organised to have makeup and hair done. The last one we did was called Gateway to Dignity.
Nice.
And that was just fantastic to be able to give these girls basically a makeover.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's really lovely. And because confidence comes with feeling good about yourself too, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So if you have your hair and makeup, well, like we know if we have our hair and makeup done, we feel much better. And so people who don't often get a chance to do that,
That's right.
It's a really nice thing to do. And you said you're the project manager, right? So there are a number of salons involved.
Yeah, there's quite a few hairdressers. The idea of this is that there's hairdressers out there that there's a lot that are actually doing a lot of really good things. And what I'm trying to do is just get everybody to work together and let's make a difference and have some longevity with the program rather than just one person, doing their thing, and if they get sick, well, then it stops. I want to see it sustainable. So
that it doesn't matter whether you're there or not,
Absolutely.
or once one other person's there or not, this program continues to run. How do people get in contact? How do they know about it? How do they...
Well,
what do they do?
Well,
if they need your services and stuff,
Sure.
or if they run, if they run a program that could benefit from those services.
I also have another page which is called the Toowoomba Hairdressing Network page. So I have over 550 hairdressers on board, which is fantastic. With that network page, that's all about the community working together and learning off each other, and there's jobs going and obviously they've got things to sell or whatever, but that's how I lead out to and ask for help for other hairdressers. But
how do people find like if I was new to town, had come in homeless, wanted to go for a job interview, needed a haircut? I know that's an unusual scenario, but it's probably not unlikely, quite honestly, even in our rich country and our beautiful, wealthy town. How would they find you?
Well, we're very lucky that we've connected up with other agencies.
Okay, so it's through all those other organisations that
right.
you actually work, which
that's
is
right.
fabulous.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of collaboration happening.
Yes, and that's only been more recent, in the last year. And that's really getting to the kids who need it.
Yeah, which is what you want.
Often the kids who really need it aren't the ones who ask for it.
Or even know about it too,
That's right?
Because it's hard if you're on survival mode to even think about having your hair done or something like that. So you obviously have a passion for people and helping people that would sometimes have barriers to looking good even, I guess. You're about to start a new program, or you would have started a new program by this stage when this actually goes to air.
Yes.
Tell me what that program is.
What I'm trying to do is I'm calling this program the Tranquil Trim. So what I'm wanting to do is families that have got children on the autism spectrum, any physical or sensory needs, similar to the Coles Quiet Hour. So to come in on every second Wednesday morning, I'm going to do an hour where there'll be no music, phones turned right down, no dryers, so they can come in and have their hair cut. Now, I know there's each individual need, so there'll obviously be a lot of talk between the parents and myself to see what the triggers are. So it'll be a learning curve.
A very individualised approach to doing it, reducing all the noise and other sensory barriers that might actually stop a family from normally attending a hairdressing salon. Why did you think of it?
Well, I do have a friend that works with kids with autism, and she had spoken about some families actually having to travel to Brisbane to do it. And for me, it's a very small sacrifice that I can make a big difference to those families in need.
That's fantastic. That's fabulous. And I'm sure many of the families, I had a daughter who was very sensory and didn't actually like having her hair combed or brushed. I would essentially take her to a hairdressing salon every couple of weeks, but it was very difficult for her because she wasn't used to the sounds and noises and everything else in there. So how do you plan to get the word out? There's obviously quite a large community of people with children on the spectrum in Toowoomba.
Yes. So I'll try and get as many leaflets as I can to any of the agencies. And I know that it is a learning curve, and I'm hoping that they might just want to come in and just let us sit them in the chair and let us comb their hair maybe the first time. Then maybe bring them in a fortnight's time and we can do a little bit more.
So it's a program you're planning to evolve.
Yes.
And respond to what the needs are of that community.
Exactly. Yeah, we're all very excited about it at the salon.
Yeah, fantastic. So all the staff are involved?
Yes, they certainly are. It will involve some training with the staff. We have worked with kids from Clifford Park, and we do realise that every child is individual and they have different triggers, and it's just adapting to those triggers.
Fantastic.
So certainly
That's
going
wonderful.
to give it a good go anyway.
So all those families out there with children that are on the spectrum or who are highly sensitive, I guess, as well, have that opportunity to come and have their children's hair cut.
Yes, like
in a safe environment for the children.
Absolutely. In a normal situation in the salon is far too loud. There's dryers, there's the phone, lights are bright, the music's blaring. So we're reducing all those.
And you play good music in there.
Yes, my playlist.
Perfect.
Yes.
You haven't just been a hairdresser. I was really impressed with this one. Fiery.
Yes.
Firewoman.
Yes.
Fire person.
Yes. So
They hold.
I've been a firefighter over 16 years.
Are you still doing it?
No, I resigned not long after the floods. When I opened my salon up 6.5 years ago, I was still trying to do both. And I had a little epiphany in the middle of the night when I was on top of a roof undoing some roofing screws to make access to the fire which was in the roof, that I'm not superwoman. And
Really?
I knew I had a
Really?
I knew I had a 12-hour day the next day, and I just thought, what am I doing? You know, and I had staff that I had to look after, it was a decision that I didn't make lightly. Because I loved it.
You had some interesting situations as a fiery, didn't you?
Yes.
And I'm not talking about, obviously it's an interesting job, needless to say, but you went from an all-women's.
Yes, so I started in a little town called Bolin, which was an all-women's fire brigade, and a house burnt down there, and the men that were firefighters were shearers, and they were out of town, so they did a recruitment campaign for women to join. Yeah. So that's how I joined. And then being married to a policeman, we went to Monto for 2 years. So I met up with the captain in Monto and introduced myself. And he was like, well, I left the bloody Lions Club because women joined. And, and so I was like, oh, well, I don't want to cause any problem. Can you just give me 2 weeks? And if you don't want me, I don't want to be here. And 2 years later, after at my send-off, he said that he had to eat his words, and we're still good friends now.
As they do.
Yes.
Especially with someone as wonderful as yourself. So, so back to your business now, because it's been your passion. So you actually did being a fiery and hairdressing alongside each other for a long, long time.
Yep.
You've had your business for about 6 years in Toowoomba.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you like Toowoomba?
I love Toowoomba.
Yeah,
I have lived away.
Right?
I've lived in Mount Isa and Cloncurry and
Did
Monto,
you grow up here?
Yes, grew up here.
Oh, you did grow up here.
Yeah.
What school did you go to?
Mount Lofty.
Mount Lofty.
Yeah.
There you go. Shout out to Mount Lofty. So some wonderful people come out of Mount Lofty without a question. So but it's not easy when you're doing so many things, because obviously you don't have a lot of spare time.
No, I make time.
But you did a great course that you told me about called No Bullshit to Business.
Yes.
So how did that help you? What did you
I went for a course down in Brisbane, and it was one of those things where I realised that if I want to continue with all my charity work, which I love, I've also got to be successful in my business as well to be able to do so. So that was really some basic core things that you forget, because as a hairdresser and many other hairdressers, we do it because we love it. We're so passionate about it, and I love my clients, and it is not a job because I just love it so much. And sometimes you forget about the business side of things a little bit.
But I can say I did go into your salon, and it is a wonderful experience. It is amazing. The people are beautiful and gorgeous. And I can understand why you love being in there. The feeling, energy is beautiful.
I have. I do work a little bit different than other salons with my staff as well. So I have 8 staff members, and we work with an absolutely no bitching policy. Nobody speaks negative about anybody. Teach them how to shut down a negative conversation. My juniors, my first years, are just as important, if not more important, than my seniors. So I totally empower.
So how do you actually implement those policies? Like, is it a contract people sign, or is it just you talk people through when they start the job?
And it's how I pick my staff too. If you meet any of my staff members, which you have, they're all beautiful, genuine, lovely girls. Because my theory is I can teach them anything, but I can't teach them to be a nice person. So I can say how I just absolutely adore each and every one of my girls.
Yeah, and it is interesting, isn't it? Because the environment you create actually creates some of the people inside it and the way they react to things.
Absolutely.
So, and it is about customer service, isn't it? And
yes, absolutely.
Looking after people.
I want people to walk through the door and feel embraced. And we have a little bit of a different system where you know, a client is not just one of my staff's client, it's everybody's client, and everybody talks to everybody, which helps keep that whole culture happening in the salon.
Yeah. And how do you, look, you're busy, how do you cope with everything? Because you've got 2 girls too, and there's a lot of...
And a boy too.
I have a boy too.
I've got a teenage boy.
We never hear about the boy. He must be
He's the love of my life. He's 19. He lives with me. He's
there you go.
Beautiful.
And he must be just really quiet.
Maybe he doesn't cause me as much problem as the other 2.
Girls are like that, right?
Yeah,
I've got 2 girls and a boy. But my boy is out there, definitely. But how do you juggle it? I mean, you're doing so much charity work. We work together often with Rotary charity projects as well.
I love Rotary. It's just absolutely beautiful to be part of the community of Rotary, The Edge. The fact that we are so service-minded and community-minded, to walk in there is just, I love it there too.
And it's about that service, isn't it?
It is.
And friendship.
Yes, definitely.
So that's lovely. But how do you do it? Like, how do you juggle all these things? And do you ever, like... My thing is that sometimes we just fall down. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it's not perfect. Sometimes things don't go to plan. Does that happen to you?
Oh, many times. I am so far from perfect, it's not funny. But I think the fact that I am so passionate about what I do, that I lose myself in my job sometimes. Gosh, I forget to go to the toilet sometimes. That's how evolved I get with everybody.
Yeah.
So it's many phone calls to my girls. I do have a daughter with a mental health issue, and that can be really challenging sometimes. So it can be difficult.
Yeah, and it's hard sometimes. Yeah.
So, certainly.
So I guess the trick is to just keep putting one foot in front of the other every day.
I think too. Like, I'm a fairly open person, and my clients are my friends, and I often talk about, you know, issues as well, and same with them. So I think sometimes it helps. I
find myself chatting to my hairdresser and sharing and things on. And obviously I'm looking down at my hand, pretending I have my phone in my hand, which I am kind of addicted to, as my family kindly point out regularly. But I keep telling them I work on my phone. So, you know, and for you, it's working with people every single day. Does it ever exhaust you?
No, I love it.
You love it.
I'm so passionate by it. I just feel so lucky and blessed to do something I love. I often hear stories of people talking about how much they hate their job, and I feel sorry for them. I feel like, you know, gosh, it's one part I'm really lucky in life.
Yeah. Look, thank you so much, Gay. It has been just wonderful having you along today. The Toowoomba community, I'm sure, is extremely grateful. There's not many people who can juggle quite as much as what you do, and help so many people who have barriers to feeling good about themselves. And I guess that's ultimately what you're passionate about. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the programs run out and grow and continue to scale in Toowoomba. It's just amazing. So thank you so much for coming along today.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Josie.